Okay, if you've got a teenager at home, you know this feeling, right? The eye rolls, the slammed doors, that constant pushback. It just feels like you're in this endless power struggle, this daily fight for control. Well, let's dive right in, because today we're going to completely reframe that whole dynamic. So, what if I told you that this constant conflict, it's not a sign that you're failing as a parent? And it's not just them being defiant for the sake of it. Nope. It's actually a predictable, totally necessary, and even healthy part of how they grow up. That tension you feel, it's literally hardwired into the relationship right now. It's not a bug in the system. It's a feature.
And this really gets to the heart of it. It boils down to this. You've got the teen's goal on one side, autonomy. It's this deep, biological drive. And on the other side, you've got the adult's goal, protection, your deep, primal instinct to keep them safe. Both of these are powerful, they're both totally legitimate, and right now, they are just colliding head-on, probably right in your living room.
All right, so to really get this, let's try to step into their world for a minute. Let's look at things from their perspective. We need to understand what their prime directive is, you know? What's their main mission right now? And that mission, that job, it's something called identity formation. And listen, this is so much more than just teenage angst. It's a critical psychological job they have to do. Think about it. They have to figure out who they are, their values, what they believe in, their own style, and they have to do it completely separate from their family. And the only way to do that, they've got to pull away. They have to create a little distance just so they can see themselves clearly. And here's how that work actually shows up in real life. You know, testing boundaries, that's not just them trying to be difficult. It's literally how they map out the edges of their own world, their own authority. And they are so sensitive to fairness, right? Almost painfully so. And why is that? It's because they're trying to build their own internal moral compass. And this last point is absolutely crucial. Anytime they feel like they're being controlled, it feels like a direct threat to that core mission of figuring out who they are. I mean, does this sound familiar? You're not being fair. Stop trying to control me, right? But here's the thing. That isn't just a dramatic outburst. It's actually a pretty clear, even if it's not super eloquent, expression of what's going on inside. They genuinely feel like their most important job, the work of becoming themselves, is being blocked. Okay, so that's the teen side of the story. But now let's flip the script and look at the adult's world. Because your instincts, your feelings in all of this are just as valid and just as powerful. And it is so important to really get this. That urge you have to set rules, to check in on them, to say no, it's not because you're a tyrant. It comes from a really deep and, let's be honest, sometimes terrifying love. It's the exact same instinct that made you baby-proof the house when they were toddlers. It's just scaled up for much bigger risks now. It's a biological imperative to protect them. So you've got these two powerful, totally opposing drives crashing into each other. What do you do? What's the solution here? Well, the answer isn't to fight harder. The answer is to change the game entirely. It's time for a whole new playbook. And this right here is the absolute core idea. The era of direct control, it's over. It just has to be. Their drive for autonomy is just way too strong to fight. So your new goal isn't control, it's influence. It's about becoming their most trusted advisor. You're shifting from being a manager to being more like a consultant. Your job is to build the kind of influence that will last a lifetime, long after they've moved out. Okay, that sounds great in theory, right? But how do we actually do that? Let's break it down. We're going to walk through 4 practical, concrete shifts for this new playbook of yours. First up, we're shifting from command to collaboration. So instead of the old way, you will be home by 10 o'clock, you try something like, hey, let's figure out a curfew that works for both of us. Here are my concerns about safety, but what are your thoughts? See what that does? It immediately invites them into the process. You're respecting their need for a say while still making sure your need for their safety is met. Number 2, we're going to replace ultimatums with choices. An ultimatum, clean your room or you're grounded, that just sets off that anti-control alarm we talked about. It's like an instant power struggle. But if you offer choices, you completely change the dynamic. Something like, hey, you can get your chores done before your friends come over, or you can do them on Saturday morning. Which one works better for you? It gives them a sense of agency, a feeling of control. And the best part? The outcome is exactly the same. The room still gets cleaned, but you've done it without a fight by respecting their prime directive. All right, our last 2 shifts are all about reframing consequences. First, and this is so important, you have to separate the behavior from their character. So it's not, you're so irresponsible, it's missing your curfew was an irresponsible choice. See the difference?
And now for the second part, which is where the real magic happens. Make the consequence teach a skill instead of just punishing. So if they break curfew, the old way is to ground them, right? That's punishment. The new way, the teaching consequence, is to have them research the late night bus schedule and come up with a better plan for next time. One approach just shames them, the other actually empowers them with a new skill.
And at the end of the day, that's really what this is all about. You have to realize that every single interaction is a choice. You can either try to win today's argument, a short-term battle for control, or you can invest in a long-term relationship built on influence. And when you choose influence, you're not just trying to survive the teen years. No, you're actively building a foundation of trust and mutual respect that's going to define your relationship for the rest of your lives. So, as we wrap this up, I want to leave you with one question to think about. Just think about the usual friction points in your house. Is it homework, screen time, chores, curfew? Okay, now pick one. What is one small area this week where you can intentionally try to shift from control to collaboration? Just try it and see what happens.